The very beginning of MTV, the very first time I saw Billie Jean, that's what I grew up with. That's what is documented the most in my mind. And that was the one that I tried the most to approximate. One of the key ways I did that was his chin. Michael went from having this very smooth kind of pointed chin, which is very similar to Jafar's when he was younger, to come around the Thriller era. He's got a very squared jawline and chin. Now, all of a sudden, he looks a lot more like Michael, which is what he did in real life anyway. Like, that was the iconic look, and that's what I wanted to achieve. So by adding the little chin, which gave him this very distinctive Michael squared off jawline, that to me helped really push him closer. One of the things I always like doing in movies is a makeup on top of a makeup. Changing a performer to a different person and then having to do a look on top of that. My idol, Rick Baker, gave me the actual colors of the makeups that he used. So we used all the screen accurate makeup that Rick used. We did it in foam rubber. We did it with grease paint, exactly the way Rick did it. I didn't want anything better than that had been done at the time. I wanted to match it as close as possible. You have to understand the importance of Thriller, more specifically, the making of Thriller videotape. What I got as a 14-year-old budding special effects makeup artist was the very first footage of a behind-the-scenes makeup on set with Rick Baker, who a whole generation of makeup artists were idolizing. So to see him doing a makeup on Michael, to see him in his shop creating the looks from that video alone kick-started an entire generation of makeup people. When we finally get Jafar on screen, we started with his youngest look. We actually had appliances on him to fill out his face, the big fro, and it was really great to recreate that iconic look of him from the Off the Wall era. During the sequence of Off the Wall, we're planting the seeds at that moment to when this first nose job happens, even from when he's a little boy. To actually finally see that series of events and dramatize them to the point where here's what we think Michael went through with his family and doing the nose job, why he did the nose job, and then showing that transition from before to after, and then watching the subtle variations of that period of time with hair, with makeup. He starts doing a little makeup. I'm always very critical. I always want to do it tomorrow and make it better. But there were a few times Antoine and Graham would come and say, I don't know what you did today. It's like amazing. And those were really special moments. Colman Domingo and Joe Jackson, you could not get two people farther apart. So what can I do to Colman to push him into Joe Jackson without looking like we completely covered him with prosthetics? So I came up with an idea and a look, and I prefaced it by saying, it's not about covering you up, it's about trying to get you closer to Joe. And he audibly screamed. He was so thrilled. He was like, oh my God, can you do this? And I was like, yeah, I think we can. It's not distracting. You're not calling attention to it. You're just hopefully watching that person now. You're watching the character as opposed to the actor portraying the character.
Cutting.